morning, and it is a very chilly 55 degrees on a Sunday morning. Intro take 2. Alright, well, this is the third batter I put in, and we're gonna try this one. It does look like I got some power here. Oh, believe it or not, it's the dog days of August here, and this is not one of the dog days. It is 55 degrees, a very chilly Sunday morning, and I haven't been doing too much fishing because the heat just makes it really tough to catch. I am catching a few, but they seem to be pretty much juveniles. I don't know, maybe we'll think of a bait that we can work with, pinpoint a particular bait and work with a single bait and see what we can get, if we can get anything. All right, today I've decided that we are going to fish our favorite stick bait, the Yamamoto. And what we want to find out today is, do colors make the difference? We're going to fish quite a few different colors here, so we're going to pretty much wacky rig most of them, and we're just going to see what happens today. It's really cold here today. Well, I shouldn't say really cold, but cold for a summer day. 55 degrees, and usually I'm getting pummeled by mosquitoes. A couple around, but not nearly what I'm used to here. So let's get down the river and start throwing some in. All right, we got ourselves down here at the river. I didn't take the walk over. I'll tell you what, it was almost like after I mentioned that I wasn't getting eaten by mosquitoes and I got bit by one, it was like he told the whole group, and suddenly I was getting swarmed. It's pretty cold. I'm surprised they're out, but so here's what we're working with today, fellas and ladies and gentlemen. We have this beautiful river. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. The sun's not quite on the river yet, so I'm anticipating once the sun hits, the fish will get a little more active. And yeah, here's how we got in here. Come on now. It's a trek. It's a trek. You gotta be willing to get a little wet and possibly step on a rattlesnake, but that didn't happen this time. If it would, I'd be crying out for help, but hey, here I am. So we're gonna do some fishing. So here's where we're at. Got a nice little spot here. I'm gonna set up my chair. As I said, today we are getting after the Yamamoto stick bait, and we have quite a few colors. Does color make a difference? It's we're gonna find out, at least for here anyway. I have tried quite a few different types of stick bait. Yamamoto's just seem to be killing it. It's like whenever I pull them out, I don't want to say I'm guaranteed to catch a fish, but I do very well on them, so I really like them. So, and I've been doing, when it comes to colors, just on the boats and just quickly by myself, it usually feels like the green pumpkin or the black and blue flake are the two top performers. But we're gonna leave those to last, so we're going to try some of the oddball colors and see what happens. So I would say Yamamoto probably has probably 35 different colors. Every time I go, I see a new color. Okay, so this is our first bait up. This is called the Fire Craw, and we're gonna start off just wacky rig and work that, and then we'll switch over Texas rig and see what style of fishing on these is good too. So we're gonna start off with this. We're gonna start off with our brightest and work our way right down to green pumpkin, black flake, and blue. Now these are a lot brighter than I would normally use, so I'm gonna put our used baits over there, and we are going wacky rig here. I like to hook them just behind the egg sac, about two or three cracks over, lines over, and that usually gives him a pretty good hang. I am using a weighted wacky rig here. This way I can kind of get them down to the ground a little quicker. Yamamoto's are a slow sinking bait, so, and this is weedless, so if we go through any of the weeds, that's going to help us out too. Can you see me? So what I like to do here, let's turn you up here a little bit. What I like to do here is I like to kind of let them float down river a little bit, especially in the river system here, and I just kind of keep my finger on the line as it's going by, and if I feel any quick tug, here's what I'm saying here, I'll just kind of keep my finger on the line as it's pulling. So it is getting tossed with the current. But every now and then you'll feel like a real fast tug, and if that's the case, then it's time to get into action. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to bring a steady retrieve. I have had luck with swimming these back too. Okay, so we're working with our Senko Victory and our Shimano Stratic reel. I'm running about a 20-pound test. So we're just going to kind of gradually bring him back. I like to pop him up and let him kind of do his thing in the water. This is a very bright bait, so I'm very interested to see if he has what it takes to catch a fish here. Natural colors have been best here on the river. I'm not saying that these flashy colors can't do it, but this is more of a, what I would call more of a natural area. So fishing the wacky rig, especially on a drag, is pretty methodic. It's not one of these crazy reel-in type of fishing styles. You can swim these back, and I've had success with these. Matter of fact, I had a situation, I was fishing through here and I had my bait out there for quite some time, nothing. As soon as I reeled it in, I had a fish chase it down, and you can kind of see him there. I don't know if you can see him there or not in the water. They're kind of their action. So they'll go after that. They like that stuff. And you can see they have their own action of their own. You can see him kind of wobble as he goes into the water. Wobble, wobble, wobble. This is a very bright bait. And listen, in all fairness to the hot crawl, or whatever the name of this one is, this bright orange Senko, the sun hasn't hit the water yet. It is a cooler morning, so we could see a little bit of a difference as far as the earlier baits to the later baits, whether or not we're going to catch fish or not. So we just heard that. That scared the crap out of me. We either have a deer that's like behind me that just grunted, or we have a truck parked up on Route 80 and his air brakes just kind of let loose. All right, so that's the wacky rig. We just lost it on a cast, so we're gonna go ahead and switch over to, I was really kind of hoping to use the same worms each time, but that happens. All right, so let's get switched over to our Texas rigging. Okay, so this is our traditional hook for Texas rigging. This is what we're using. It's a pretty much a J hook with an offset eyelet. And let's get one of these guys. Very simple. If you're not familiar with Texas rigging, basically you're going to take it right down the nose here, and you're going to go maybe about, I like to go about a ½ inch, maybe just 3/8, and that's going to flip around as you run it up the line. You're going to come here and you're going to kind of twist it, and you'll see you're going to bring that back up, and the string's going to cover up that eyelet, which I like. So you're going to line up the back of your hook here, and this one's going to be just in the egg sac, and you want to put your thumb right on that mark, and that's where you're going to bring in your hook. Try to go dead center if you can, and we're going to bring that in, and we're just going to skin hook that just a little bit. All right, and that's going to keep it pretty fairly weedless. And this just has a different throw to it. We don't have too many weeds here to worry about, but we do have logs, so we're going to continue the upriver, because I kind of got screwed up with the last worm. So let's get him over there, and you're going to see too is you can really cast one out with the Texas rig. You're less likely to lose worms off the Texas rig as you are with the wacky. The wacky rig, you know, you're pretty much going right through the dead center of that worm, and it can really tear them up. You know, you're still gonna let your bait make its way downstream. Every now and then you can give it a pop, get it up, let them kind of do-si-do right back down. So this has a little more swim action, and when we get him close, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let me bring this guy back, and I'll show you the difference as far as the swim on a Texas rig. And here he comes now. You can see he's going to do a little bit of weird darting and then a fall. So quite a bit different than what the wacky rig offers. And we'll just send him up here a little bit, and you can kind of see too, if you're swimming him fast, you know, you can get him darting around. Let's get in that sun. Let's get in that sunshine. The other thing about the river system that's a little different is that, unlike lakes and ponds, the fish usually like to tuck into a certain area and they kind of hang out there. On rivers, they like to kind of go up and down the river, and I'm not saying that fish don't venture off from their area, but usually what I'll see here is I'll see a lot of like fish just kind of go by. They're kind of scanning the area. So I could fish here now and not catch a darn thing, and fish here a half an hour from now, and all of a sudden all the fish are coming through. You just never know. Never know. So this is our St. Croix Ultralight, and this is a medium power rod with a Fluger reel on it. This is running 15-pound braid, and this has been a really nice rod. This rod was given to me by my father and matches a little bit more his style, but great for Senkos. Great for Senkos. I can really get them out there. A lot of times you really can't get Senkos too far, but this particular rod has such a whip action to it, I can really launch them. I can get them probably good, I don't know, 40 yards, 42 yards. That's pretty far. Okay, so I have the next one, and it's very similar to the Fire Crawl. So I don't know if we're going to bother with running these. It's toned down a little bit. I think I'm going to pass on these because I think we were pretty much in this color range. So we're gonna kind of knock this one off. Sorry, it was probably the one that was going to catch something. But I would say let's say these are our orangey color baits. So we got the pumpkin, black and green flake. And I know what you're saying. You're like, darn it, Kirk, you're going to catch it. All right, we'll go just wacky rig on this one. We'll throw it 2 or 3 times. But we're not going to give this one a ton of time because, you know, I want to catch fish. And if the fish are going to be biting on those green pumpkins, which they normally do, that's what I feel like I should be fishing. But the whole idea of this video is to say, hey, do colors make a difference? And you know what? This is subtle. This is definitely a subtle change, but you know what? We just said it. Will it make a difference? We'll find out. We'll find out. We're only going to fish this guy wacky though, and then we'll get back after the next color. All right. I've caught more fish here on the wacky. I shouldn't say that. I've caught them both ways. So here we go. Wacky rig with the pumpkin. Wacky rig with the pumpkin. Will it be the difference maker? All right, we're still on the pumpkin, and I think I got a couple little hits here. Sometimes with the weighted wacky worm, we're on the bottom, and we will feel the bottom. So it will sometimes trick you into thinking you're getting bites, but it sure felt the part, that's for sure. But nothing happened, so we didn't catch anything. Sorry. When I brought you back, hi everybody. This is our last cast on our pumpkin with black and green flake, I think it was. And we're gonna move on to our next color. What's that gonna be? Beats me. Let's check it out. We're starting to get into our darker colors here. So most of these are gonna be green pumpkins, and this one's interesting. We'll try him. This one has some white in it. This is watermelon with cream. But staying in the brighter colors, I think we're gonna give this one a shot. This is kind of a this is a watermelon pink, and kind of resembles a. I'm holding that, and I forgot I had the thing. This kind of resembles a rainbow trout, which there are rainbow trout in here. So this may appear to be a small rainbow trout. I'd like to give it a shot. Let's get after it. Now this one, in effort to keep the pink belly in there, we want to hook this in a little differently. So we want to make sure that the green is up. So we're going to hook this on the side. Okay, where's the egg sac there? We're going to hook this on the side like so. So when we put this through, the green will still be on the bottom. All right, so that's that. This is the green with pink belly rainbow trout look-alike. Ugh, mud. Don't want to fall in. Well, we got some duckies flying by and pooping in the water. We'll call it poop or chum, one or the other. Let's get over here. Yeah, we got that right in the grass. That's what we like. Come off the banks. That's where a worm's gonna come. He's gonna wash out off the banks, right? We are fishing the green pumpkin with pink belly. I've not caught anything on this Senko before, so if I catch something, this will be a first for this particular Senko. Actually, I did catch something with this rainbow trout looking worm, and unfortunately it was me. And if you want to go back in my videos, you'll see I hooked my finger, or Crazy Day on the Lake. I have two videos that I made with the hooking, and we have a bite. We got a bite. What do you know, guys? What do you know? Here we go. Nice little smallmouth here. Nice. All right, buddy. There we go. He's feisty. He is feisty. I had to run back to the truck. We ran out of SD card. We caught that smallmouth, and I don't know if I even was able to get a release for you. But on the rainbow Senko, very interesting. First fish I ever caught on that rainbow Senko, so they might be effective. So they're working. We still have 2 more throws on that, so we could potentially catch some more fish here. So very, very exciting. Yeah, here's where we get down. So talk about dangerous. So yeah, let's get back after it. One smallmouth with the rainbow Senko, Gary Yamamoto. I'm sorry that I ran out of SD card. Hopefully I got a release on it. I'm not positive, but we got 2 more casts on that, and then we're going to switch it up. All right, so that was a catch. You probably noticed when I brought him in, that he threw the worm as we were going there. That's pretty common. That's pretty common. As I said before, the wacky style is not, there's not much to tear through, and it's very often that when you do catch a fish with a wacky rig, that it's likely that you're going to lose the worm. That one kind of went flying right over my head, but yeah, that's pretty common. So that keeps us going and buying them. And there are methods of, you can buy different rings and different things like that in order to kind of preserve your worm, to get a little more out of them. I think that was cast 2 for the rainbow Senko, and 1 smallmouth. It's a little guy, maybe just under a pound, but great fighters, such great fighters. And he felt like he was a little bit more spunky, maybe because the water's a little chillier. It brings me to thinking that, you know, because this is stocked with rainbow trout, I'm not so certain that maybe it is what helped this particular worm here, only because I fished it in lakes and the possibility of rainbow trout maybe isn't there, you know, not stocked lakes. So this could be the reason that this Senko has been the top performer so far here. But we got one, so that is very, very exciting. And hopefully there's more to come. It's going to be kind of interesting to see how the green pumpkin fares. I mean, that's been the champion here. I catch fish on the green pumpkin here all the time. I have caught a few on the black with blue flake. Not as of recent. That was more springtime. They kind of dropped off a bit. But never with the rainbow. That's a first for me here, so that's pretty inspiring. And this is probably going to be, because I'm making this video, it's probably going to be one of the few times that you're going to get after all the colors and say, all right, listen, I'm fishing all the colors and this is just the way it is. We're making a video and we want to see, does colors make the difference? As I said, we're certainly using one of, in my opinion, one of the better Senkos on the market, as far as I'm concerned. Now, there's going to be controversy on that, and tell me what Senko you like. I've tried quite a few. I've tried Bite Me Baits, I've tried Excite, I've tried Zooms, I've tried Yums, and I have, the only other real worm that I've really had very good success with is the Yum Dinger. But always when I'm using other style Senkos, it's always on the green pumpkin. So green pumpkin is definitely one of those colors that just hands down has it going on. If you guys have an opportunity, let me know in the comments what type of Senko that you're having success with, because I'd love to try them. I'd love to bring them out here, and I'll tell you what, if you have a Senko that you say, hey, this is a Senko, I'll go green pumpkin for green pumpkin. I'll put it up against the Gary Yamamoto's, and let's see what happens. I did try that once before, and as always, the Gary Yamamoto's have been successful. They have won it, so it would be very interesting to bring in another brand. So you tell me what brand that's going to be, and maybe it's multiple brands, and we'll bring them out here to the river. We know there's fish here, we know there's smallmouth here, they love the worms, they love the Senkos, and we'll take them out here and we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm already surprised today. Didn't think it was going to be the rainbow color. Haven't seen much wildlife today, just the ducks. But there's times here where the wildlife gets crazy. I've had beaver come through, I've had deer come through, bald eagles. I've seen a squirrel cross the river. That was kind of interesting. You wouldn't think a squirrel would bother, but yeah, saw a squirrel come to the edge, jump in, and cross right over. It was kind of interesting. You ever seen a squirrel swim? Actually, you probably have. Because if you're watching YouTube, you've probably seen the surfing squirrel before. We all have. whether we like it or not. It somehow always comes up on our feed. Okay, so we're gonna go with our next lightest color. And our next lightest color is going to be the watermelon with the cream. And I have caught some fish with this. And I decided we're gonna go ahead and Texas rig this one. We'll get back on a Texas rig. And this way everybody's getting a fair shot. So we should be able to work the banks real nice with this particular lure. And boop, here we go. Watermelon cream. Same idea, I kept the lighter color on the bottom. You know, when I think of watermelon cream, all I can think of is like ice cream, and it sounds delicious. If the fish and I can only talk, I would tell them how delicious this one would be, and they need to give it an opportunity and try it out. Now that it's warmed up, the mosquitoes have warmed up to me as well. Didn't have any success with the Texas rig, so we're gonna put him on the weighted wacky rig. Still staying with this color. All right, well, we had a bite, but he got off. So we're gonna get right back after it. We have a bite. All right, so chalk that up for a bite with the watermelon cream. A good bite at that. Got him this time. Oh yeah, see, they want to go right upriver. He's trying to outrun it. Little guy. Little guy. So what they do is, as I said, he's just little, but oh my goodness, he was hardly even hooked. So that's just a nice little guy, but what he did is, once he got the bite, he just ripped it upriver, and basically he just outran. So that's the second one we caught. That one was, both were bicolor so far, so I'm going to throw another one out because I only got a couple out on it to see if we can get another one with it. That was kind of nice because we got a bite, and then I was able to kind of send it back over there, and he was still interested. And probably the reality was because he really never did get hooked. It got in his mouth, but it never really hooked it. He was able to kind of swim upstream, and these guys are fast. I was watching him swim upstream, basically trying to outrun the hook. Well, I guess if you told me that today's fish were all going to come on bicolors, the bicolor Senkos, I would have told you, nah, it's not going to happen. Both stick baits had a dark color top with a lighter color underbelly, so they've been effective here today, and that's not the norm. So maybe these colors got something going on. Okay, here. So that's that with that guy. We've gone through 4, and we're gonna go now to a cinnamon black and purple flake. Let's see how he does. Kind of a purpley color looking bait. Let's see if he can attract a fish or two. Today is all about Senkos, and does color make the difference? And as we've seen so far, we've thrown 4 different colors, and the bicolors have been the champions. So this is a cinnamon girl, and we're just kind of dragging him along the bottom, and it's time to bring him back, and we're going to bring him upriver. So he certainly presents a lighter color on the water. Got some nice purple flake in there. Good looking bait. I'm not gonna lie to you, as I'm fishing all these different Senkos, these stick baits, the names of all these baits are so interesting. It's making me kind of hungry. We've have watermelon cream, now we got cinnamon. Yeah, thank goodness I have a cup of coffee here. Otherwise, I'd be pretty much starving, but I'm just about ready for breakfast. I've come out here fairly early, just a little bit after 6 o'clock, and sun's up now, so I've been out here for a couple hours and caught 2 smallmouth. So far, I think it's a pretty successful fishing trip whenever you catch a few fish. I know the one was a dink. I'll take it. You know, dink's better than no fish. And now we're working the cinnamon black and purple flake. So most of my catches here in this particular area where I'm fishing rarely come from upstream here. Most of them been coming from downstream, and I'm not really sure why. I'm on a little bit of a bend here where the river kind of turns and kind of goes out to a straight. So I think what's happening is I'll have a situation where my lures sometimes, my Senkos will actually sometimes kind of almost settle in. And I think there's kind of like almost like a swirl here, and it keeps bait kind of tucked in here. And I think the fish like that idea, that they have maybe a second opportunity to get a you know, whatever is coming downstream. And it just so happens that my Senko is one of the things coming down, so it kind of like slows things down a little bit, and I think the fish can attack a little easier there, where further upstream has some speed to it, so the fish have to work a little harder to get whatever they want to get. And not that I don't think they can do it, but if they're in with other bass, the bass are pretty competitive, and you know, if they got to work for it, the bass that's closest to it's gonna get it. We're always enjoying our time here at the river. It's just so beautiful. I mean, how could you not? You know, so yeah, if anything happens with this cinnamon purple black flake, we'll certainly bring you back. We got 1 or 2 casts left here on this one, and we're going to be switching into the next bait. This is a watermelon black red flake. So we had another watermelon, but this is going to change it up a little bit. And this is another bicolor, so this might be interesting. So this is what we're working with here. You can see he's got a darker back and a lighter belly. So we're going to try to keep that back on the top here. And this has a lot of red flake in here. So I've had a little bit of luck with these, so let's give this guy a shot. We've been staying with the wacky rig. I feel like the wacky rig is able to get me a little bit closer to the bottom, and I can kind of work it a little better. And here we go with the watermelon black and red flake bicolor. The bicolors have been good so far, so you know, I'm hoping that that's going to be the case. Boy, did he hit the water hard. I mean, that made a huge splash. So far, bicolors have been it, but this is we're getting a little more natural other than the red flake. Pretty interesting what's caught fish so far. We're back on a bicolor, so it's going to be interesting to see if this can attract the fish. It's not quite as light as the last 2, but it's still a bicolor. Those red flakes, boy, can they pop in the sun. But will it be what makes fish excited? Sometimes, you know, those bright colors can scare them away too. You know, they're just like, oh, that just looks a little too weird. I'm staying away from that. So we'll have to see. It's getting a lot warmer here, so I changed my shirt just in case you thought maybe I switched in a different video. This is still the same video on does color make a difference when it comes to Senkos and stick baits. As I said before, we're running Gary Yamamoto's. Right now we're on a watermelon with red and black flake. So far we have 2 fish that we caught in with 2 bicolors, which is kind of different than what I first anticipated. I know I've done very well with the green pumpkin with black flake. I probably won't catch a fish on those, and it'll make a liar of me. Next one is dark pumpkin with large black flake. So very similar to the green pumpkin. Let's see what happens here. So still on the wacky rig, and we haven't been catching anything lately, so it's going to be interesting to see if this is what it's going to take to get some fish here. So you can see this guy in the water. Sometimes they don't present the same way in the water as they do on dry land. And you can see this guy really is very similar to the color of the bottom, where I think he could get lost on the fish, you know. So I don't know if this guy is going to be very effective, only because I think the color is just a little too similar to the ground color. Okay, we got somebody interested in us. Now, yeah, he was giving us little hits, but I could have smelled another smallie, or another small smallie is what I should say. Let that soak a little bit more. Okay, so this is a cinnamon black flake. This is the next one up. We're gonna throw a couple casts out with this guy here. It's more of a kind of a purpley color again. Well, we are getting some hits with this guy, and I didn't think we would. There we go. Another smallie. We got a problem here. There we go, unhooked himself. So the smallies, just another little guy. These smallies, I'm like, I gotta get them quick. So beautiful fish. Look at that guy in the sun, huh? Beauty, beauty. All right, well, here I was thinking that guy wasn't gonna do much for us, and he turned out to do pretty good. So here's a release on this guy. Thanks, bud. I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of thought that guy was gonna be a dud, but look at the damage he did to our wire here. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to straighten that out or not. All right, so hey, listen, I didn't expect us to catch another fish, to be honest with you. I was kind of thinking, oh, it's over. That was the cinnamon with the black flake. First fish that I caught upstream too. I almost didn't fish this one, guys. I wasn't gonna bother with it. I was like, it's too close to another color, and I hadn't had very much success with this particular lure in the past. You can see these great little areas where the fish can kind of tuck into these little holes. They are all up and down the river, and this river gets deep. I would say probably the deepest spot in this river is probably 10 to 14 feet deep. For as narrow as it is, that's a pretty deep trench. Okay, we're on the black with blue flake here. Black with blue flake. Let's give this guy a shot. I've been very successful in the early and late part of the season. Mainly a cold water color, in my opinion. I've had best luck with it here anyway with that. Not to say you can't catch fish in any time of the year with it, but that seems to be here on the river what this particular color has offered me. So I have a little problem, and I apologize in advance. All my green pumpkin and black flake are on my boat. So I'm gonna take a run over to my truck and see if I happen to have one hooked up to one of my other rods. This is gonna be crazy. I mean, the whole idea of this is the star of the show is the green pumpkin black flake. The bicolors have done great, and we also caught one with the cinnamon and cinnamon black flake. After all this, you know, I go to reach for my green pumpkin with black flake, and it's not there. To what? 8 or 9 different Senkos, and the one I'm telling you is so great, I end up not having it. So great that I didn't bring it with me. But that wasn't the idea of this particular video. The particular idea of this video is, does color make a difference? So I don't know if a tree is falling further up and the leaves are coming apart, but I'm seeing a lot of like sunken leaves float by, and they'll throw me off. I think it's a fishtail, but no, it isn't. The only fishtail here is the one I'm gonna tell you about, the big monster I caught. All right, so we're gonna fish this one out and then we're gonna take a walk up to the truck and hopefully I've got a green pumpkin black flake. I'm just kind of embarrassed I don't. But we'll stay true to the video. We'll stay true. If I don't have it, I'm not gonna cheat. I will pull out whatever green pumpkin black flake I have, and I know I've got a yum dinger up there. I don't fish them too often, but if it's true that color makes the difference, then should it make a difference what particular bait I'm running? It's to be seen. Okay, we're back. I had to run up to the truck. I ran totally out of, I'm sorry, I don't have my Gary Yamamoto green pumpkin with black flake, so that was going to be the champion, but not to be. So I could all right, with the magic of editing, I could simply put the last time I was here where I caught a couple fish with the green pumpkin black flake, but this is the real, we're gonna stay with the real deal. So went to my bag, I got the yum dingers and I got the Excite, both green pumpkin black flake, and let's give these a shot. Will the color be what it takes to do it? If the color is the color, these should do just fine. This is a high floater on the Excite yum dingers. They tend to be a little heavier than the Gary Yamamotos, but I'm running a weight anyway. So let's give them a shot and see how things go. No luck with the black. And that's a Gary Yamamoto. And you can see the yum dinger gives you a spot to tuck your worm in, which is kind of nice, or your hook in, which is kind of nice when you're going to go Texas rig. But we're staying with wacky style. And I'm not sure if these are going to hook up the same. I don't run these very often. No, he's off balance there. So you want these balanced out. I think that's pretty good. All right, this is a yum green pumpkin black flake. Does color make the difference? And now we just threw a twist in it where we are now throwing a different brand of bait besides. So color, I would say that the Gary Yamamoto is fairly close to the color. Maybe the flakes stand out a little bit more than the yum dinger. The yum dingers are a little heavier. They have a faster drop, and but we're running a weight anyway, so I don't think that's going to be too much of a change. Maybe a little bit. It's getting later in the morning and it's warming up, and as you know, the fish like to hit early, so we'll see how this works out. You know, I'm still kicking myself in the butt a little bit that I don't have the Gary Yamamotos that I've been having so much success with, but this gives me an opportunity to take these stick baits out that I haven't put on the hook in some time. I didn't want to seem like a little baby, but boy, did the mosquitoes wake up with the sun. Holy crap, I'm getting killed. When I'm close to the water, it's not too bad, but boy, the walk to the truck and back, oh my goodness, they got me. I got one on my neck, one on my cheek. Man, I just got hammered. It's like they can't wait for you, and once they draw blood, man, it's over. So I will say one thing about the yum dinger that I didn't notice really with the Gary Yamamoto. When I pull him through the water, I can feel that chatter, where I didn't really feel the chatter with the Gary Yamamoto. So maybe he's giving a little different pulse. Gonna be kind of interesting to see when I swim him back if it doesn't help to attract a fish. We're switching over to the Excite. I fished these a couple times. Didn't really have much success, so I kind of put them away kind of quick. They float a little bit more than the other ones. So a little smaller actually in diameter. But let's see where we need to hook these guys up. These have a little bit of a flat bottom. And so I'm gonna try to get that to be on the bottom there. Now, this particular worm which I'm gonna set back a little bit further. I just dropped them in the water for a moment. Almost little to absolutely no wobble. And I just had a tick land on me. Like, these guys don't fly, do they? It just landed right on me, like from the sky. Weird. All right, well, maybe a fishy might eat him. Yeah, I mean, I'm putting this guy in the water and he just basically goes, let's put him in there and see if he does something more than the Yumdinger. Now I'm really upset that I don't have the Gary Yamamotos here, because I do know, man, they have been super effective. Now, I'm not going to say that I throw it in there and I pull a fish out every time. I was out here a couple days ago, and that's all I was fishing was with those. Yeah, I caught 2 smallmouths back to back too. So it just goes to say that the bass like to group up, and if you catch one in a certain area, it's always a good idea to hit that area again. Sometimes they'll school up a little bit. You might get 3 or 4 bass all hanging out together, and they just gotta go, hey, where'd Ted go? And they're gonna hang around there and be like, well, he'll be back. And I'm sure Ted does make his way back, you know, even though I let him off back where I caught him. All right, let's talk a little bit about this bait here. This is an Excite. All right, there's nothing exciting about it. For the river system, I'm not really liking it one bit. Even with the weight that I have on my wacky rig, I cannot get this thing to fall to the bottom. The current is taking him so quickly that I really can't get him to kind of settle down. For this time of year, I think the fish are staying kind of in the cooler areas where it might be a little lower. Maybe coming up the sun up a little bit and then getting back down. I don't think I'm going to catch anything with it. And I'm trying to give it an opportunity. I'm running it like I'm running my other ones. Actually, I had to change it up a little bit because it falls so super slow, even with my 3/16 weight on it. Excite is not a good name for this one because there's nothing, as I said, I'm not excited. I'm just kind of bored with it. I can't wait to take it off. Okay. Wow. I went through my bag and I have a torn up Gary Yamamoto green pumpkin, but he's torn up, so I have to hook him in the egg sac. As torn up as he is, will it make the difference? I don't know if I'm only going to get maybe a couple casts out of him. I'll let him drift out. Hopefully, if I'm careful, something might happen with him, but Gary Yamamoto, green pumpkin, black flake, torn to shit. Will it catch a fish? He's ripped up though, so I mean, if he catches, I mean, talk about kick him when he's down. So while I'm fishing this wounded worm, I just thought I should take this opportunity to thank our sponsor. And our sponsor is Nobody. And I'd like to thank Nobody for sponsoring us. Whenever you don't want anything, think of Nobody, because Nobody won't be there for you. When you need Nobody, Nobody will be there. And that's what's so nice about Nobody. So I'd like to thank Nobody for sponsoring this video. If you need somebody, don't call Nobody. Call Nobody. And Nobody will be there. I'd like to thank all the Nobodies who have thanked me. And oh my goodness, green pumpkin. No. Wouldn't that have been fun? Well, thanks to Nobody again. Nobody sponsored this, and we will be pleased to promote Nobody as long as Nobody is there. But maybe you could be a somebody if you're watching this video and you think, hey, why is that guy promoting Nobody? But he could be promoting somebody. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So thanks again, nobody. And you could be somebody if you'd like. Let's stay after this fishing. Oh, by the way, nobody was hurt in that video. But somebody might be. So we decided to go ahead and throw the black with blue flakes back in. Well, he got it in there good. There we go. So yeah, nice little fish. You know, you just kind of wonder if you keep catching the same fish. This one was on our black with a blue flake, and he spit the worm, so that's pretty much it for us. I couldn't help but fish. I like fishing, so sue me. Here we go here. Nice. So what I did is I just kind of walked down the line there. Unfortunately, we did lose our Senko, so that pretty much concludes it. But yeah, I really enjoy fishing, so I'm going to keep after it. And we're able to catch one more, so that's 4 today. So unfortunately, I'm kind of ready to go. Unfortunately, that only leaves me here with the Yum and the Excite, which they're not yummy or exciting. Now I'm making my way downriver here, and we're getting some good water breaks here behind the riprap. So I'm trying to make my way here without falling on my ass. There's a little fish. Little guy was hanging out right here in the very shallow. Look like a little pike. Oh, and I've got a couple bass just hanging right out here, aimed into the current. But yeah, they're just kind of hanging out right here and letting stuff come to them. And that might be why we're having a success coming around this corner. They're just kind of hanging out here waiting. Ooh, we got some big carp right here. We got some big ones right in here. We just had a really nice hit. We didn't take it. We're going to give him another shot, another opportunity. That was a real big hit too. Just you could feel it, like almost pulled the rod out of my hand. Okay, we've never done this before. We're sending you down. Just please come back. And remember, I love you. I love you all. We got a lot of fish there to look at, so have fun. Be careful. really got to see a few fish down there, which is kind of cool. Hope you enjoyed getting underwater. Hopefully there were a couple fish there to see. All right, so we put a couple hours of fishing in there. We went back to the black with the blue flakes, and hey, it was effective. It went out there and it got us one. You know, we saw those fish. I wanted to get you underwater to see if we could get a better look at those fish. Hopefully we got a little bit of fishy views there for you. We're gonna stop for a little bit of breakfast, and we'll get after that. Thanks.
Non-stop like this, gonna rock the party non-stop like this, gonna rock, rock, non-stop like